tonight. Protest outside the U.S. Embassy condemns American war action in the Middle East. Fuel surcharges becoming the norm with rising gas prices, but some industries could feel the impact more than others. Plus, clinicians call for a trio of moves to put cancer care for Canadians on the map. Good evening. In the early days of a fragile two-week ceasefire, tonight there's much uncertainty. Israel continued bombing Lebanon today, and that deadly action has some people in Ottawa taking to the streets in protest.
Israel bombs, Canada pays!
Organizers called it an emergency protest, their anger on display in front of the U.S. Embassy on Sussex Drive. Those who took part say the recent series of events is troubling. They point out that the U.S. president said he would end Iranian civilization, then called a ceasefire, but Israel continues to bomb Beirut. And it appears many believe the ceasefire was going to cover all military action related to the conflict, not just Iran.
The reason we feel the need to be on the streets is to protest against this injustice, this world that we're seeing right now. This isn't the world we want to live in. We are asking our government to enact an arms embargo on Israel, full sanctions and a two-way arms embargo. Unfortunately, our tax dollars are supporting these crimes, and we are here as people of conscience to take a stand against it and ask that the Canadian government enact an arms embargo.
This protest also calling for the U.S. and Israel to stop attacking Lebanon, Iran, and Gaza. At least 182 people were killed in today's bombing of Beirut. In the meantime, the ceasefire announcement will likely provide some dramatic price drops at the gas pumps this week. The prediction is that we could see a 12-cent reduction come Friday. But many wonder if this relief will be short-lived. Most stations in Ottawa today selling regular gas for around $1.83 a litre. Experts say fuel prices go down slower than they go up. So with the situation in the Middle East still so unsettled, getting longer-term relief is more complicated. The cost to fill up is driving some people to change their habits, while others say that's not an option.
This is affecting everyone, but we'll see if it goes up or down. Everything's changing minute by minute.
Too expensive. No, like that, we're not gonna go no more to Montreal. We're not gonna go nowhere. Stay home.
I'm driving to Boston tomorrow, and I have a cottage I'm going to drive to. I may think about it more than once.
Something else to keep in mind, refineries are set to change over from winter to summer gas next week, with an expected increase of around 7 cents a litre. That being said, the uncertainty and volatility means companies like CN Rail are increasing fuel surcharges, and those costs could eventually be forced onto consumers. Here's CTV's Leah Larocque with the breakdown.
Rutter's Elevators keeps the agricultural system moving, buying grain, drying it, storing it, shipping it out.
We're into another struggle. The unknown, the unforeseen stuff in every market.
Truckers are tacking on diesel surcharges after fuel prices soared because of the war in Iran.
It's an indicator of what is going on in the economy today.
On top of that, Canadian National Railway has fuel surcharges, adjusted monthly, that rise with oil prices, creating smaller margins and uncertainty for the business.
The biggest hurdle is not knowing our actual fuel surcharges. While everything from tractors to tractor parts to inputs, chemicals, seed, everything it's just inflationary, and it just continues on and on and on.
It's not just a fossil fuel energy price shock that we're witnessing, it's a fertilizer shock. 1/3 of the world's fertilizer goes through the Strait of Hormuz.
Many farmers have already locked in contracts on things like fertilizers for this year. So the rising cost of fuel is a concern for next year because they worry that the costs will only go up.
And now I'm looking like a really smart guy because that fertilizer's almost doubled in price.
Peter Reuter runs a dairy farm in Ottawa. He says knowing when or when not to buy agricultural products isn't black and white.
I've understood from the dealers, they don't even know how to price it to them. They don't want to overcommit to buying any expensive fertilizer if they don't need it.
He took a risk and bought other products like this sawdust in bulk after his supplier told him that higher surcharges were coming.
He told me that a fuel surcharge was coming in next month. So I was like, okay, I'll take it this month. So we took it in March.
Experts warn that even with a ceasefire in place, the uncertainty in the energy market will eventually make its way down the supply chain.
But however you cut it, what does this mean? This means that customers will be paying higher prices. The end of that supply chain is consumers.
Leah LaRocque, CTV News.
CTV Ottawa has extended coverage of the conflict and its impact on fuel. Just go to ctvnewsottawa.ca. Here's a live look through our Centennial Glass Sky Cam. It is 1 degree out there right now as Jackie Perez gives us our first look at the forecast.
Well, after a mainly sunny day, this will continue at least for the morning. It is in the afternoon, though, that we could see a band of rain moving through the region, more so in the Kingston area where we could see heavier rainfall and perhaps some thunderstorms. We are keeping a very close eye on this. Temperature-wise, though, we are warming up to about 13 degrees by the afternoon. Keep in mind, though, there are strong wind gusts. 20 to 40 kilometers per hour is anticipated for really most of our day. Now, keep in mind as well, by Friday, we are anticipating another band of a snowy wintry mix moving through. We'll have these details and much more in just a bit.
Thank you, Jackie. The Ottawa Police Arson Unit is investigating an overnight fire in Centertown. Firefighters were called to a commercial building on Laurier Avenue West near Metcalfe around 2:40 a.m. Crews say when they arrived at the scene, there were flames and smoke coming from the building, which houses a restaurant, lounge, and bar. They got it under control in about 40 minutes. The arson unit is now leading the investigation. A drop-in center on Rideau Street reopened today, more than 1 month after a vehicle crashed into the building. 4 people were struck while they were waiting in line at Capital City Mission on the morning of February 25th. An elderly man died from his injuries. The drop-in is thanking the community for their support over these last few weeks. And the city is reporting a spike in illegal dumping complaints since the 3-item garbage limit came into the capital in the fall of 2024. A recent city report shows Bylaw received more than 2,000 service requests for illegal dumping last year. That's up 263% from the year before. The city issued 10 charges and 133 notices of violation in 2025 related to illegal dumping. While many residents in rural Ottawa are calling for more transit options, and councillors spent much of the day debating whether private bus service was an option, but that motion failed. CTV's Austin Lee has details.
Like many rural communities in Ottawa, more people are moving to Richmond.
With the growth of the housing, yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's grown.
Oh, very much in the last 8 years. But then we don't have the services for that growth.
For Chris Easy, Richmond is home, but he's studying at Carleton University, and it's quite the commute.
For me, the options to get into school were pretty limited. I ended up having to drive out to a park and ride that's 20 minutes away so I can take the O train so I can get to school and not worry about paying $45 for parking.
If there was a bus making regular trips into the city, he'd be all for it.
More options, I think, would be a fantastic thing to have out here, especially as we grow, and we're continuing to grow.
Councillor David Brown is hoping to make that happen by bringing private transit options to rural Ottawa.
Getting from the village into the downtown area and back again as quickly as possible is important. Right now, the rural service that we have is more like a milk run. It could take up to 2 hours each way.
However, his effort to have city staff take a closer look at private bus service in rural areas failed on a tie vote Wednesday.
Private transit is very difficult to make work. Usually it results in higher fees, obviously less jobs for within OC Transpo.
I don't see how a private contractor can do it cheaper. They won't be offering it for a fare of $4.05, that's for sure.
Still, Brown hopes his plan can come to fruition. One part of his motion that did pass, directing staff to review the funding model for rural transit areas.
We're still moving forward. We still see that forward momentum being made, and that's important for residents to see that council fundamentally agrees that residents require transit. It's how we deliver it.
For Easy, he hopes the wheels on the rural bus plan keep going round and round.
There's not enough options for people in rural communities who especially with gas prices going up.
Austin Lee, CTV News.
It's fine that they give us a relocation allowance, but that still doesn't bring my family together.
Coming up, Hard Rock Hotel and Casino being asked to hold their horses on putting the racetrack out to pasture. Those heavily invested say they were blindsided by the announcement. That goal from Ottawa had fans charged up after the team tied the game, but the Seattle Torrent answered with 2 more goals of their own. Ottawa losing 5-3 on home ice tonight. Now they hit the road for Toronto. That game is Saturday at 2 p.m. Members of the local horse racing community are mourning the sudden end of racing at the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino. As CTV's Kimberly Fowler reports, there is an effort to revive it, but the odds aren't great.
It's a finish line no one saw coming. Ontario Racing and the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino Ottawa announced late Thursday it's shutting down the horse racing program, saying the Rideau Carleton Raceway is no longer sustainable.
Oh, it was devastating to us because that's what we do for our main living.
For horse owners, trainers, and drivers like Mandy Archer, the decision tearing her family apart.
We're one of the families that are split in 2. And it's how are we going to sustain that for a long period of time? I don't know.
Others feel blindsided after investing thousands of dollars in the off-season and also competing at other tracks.
You probably put out $25,000 a month to keep the operation going, and there was no races.
With help from Ontario Racing, some are forced to consider relocating to any of the other 14 tracks in the province.
It's fine that they give us a relocation allowance, but that still doesn't bring my family together.
While others say their only option may be to shut down operations.
It just kind of changes, your whole life. We breed our own horses here, so they're raised, we train them, and then it just changes the scenario where if there's no racing here, the facility is probably sold and you move on.
But not all hope is lost. The 2 sides are still in talks to try and save the rest of the racing season and the horse racing program.
We have time now. I trust the processes. If we can get to the table, the horsemen, we have a lot of people. They are brilliant people. They can make a good plan to make it survive.
The horse people are meeting to try and see what the options are. And, they would love to continue to race in the Ottawa area. It's not impossible, but there's a lot of regulatory steps you have to go through before you can conduct a live horse racing meet.
A statement from Hard Rock Hotel and Casino Ottawa reads in part, "This decision was not taken lightly. We are committed to continuing our meaningful impact in the community now and into the future." A season that was ready to run, now in limbo, stalled at the gate. Kimberly Fowler, CTV News.
Back to Jackie now for a closer look at the forecast.
Well, we are getting a bit of a warm-up, especially after the not-so-spring-like weather that we have been here in the capital. -3 overnight. We are getting closer to seasonal. Tomorrow's daytime high, yes, it is 14 degrees, but there is a chance that we could see some showers in the late afternoon, early evening, and some strong wind gusts as well throughout the day. So you still want to layer up, even though we are getting to 14 degrees. Meanwhile, across the region, overnight lows around the freezing mark for Kingston, -2 in Brockville, about -4 in Cornwall, as well as here in Gatineau and Ottawa. Petawawa sitting around at -1. So you're going to start to see that warm up. Clear skies as well. This will carry us into the morning, where we will start off with some sunshine, getting to daytime highs about 13, 14 degrees. Some parts could even see 15, depending on how much sun and warmth we get as well. But as we mentioned, by the time Friday rolls around, it's not quite the end of the wintry snowy mix. So you can see that the purple here, that's indicating some snow that will move through Ottawa by the time 10 a.m. Friday rolls around. There's going to be much stronger rainfall along Brockville as well as Kingston, and perhaps some severe thunderstorms moving in. So we are keeping a very close eye on this. It should clear by Friday afternoon and the late evening commute as well. Now, as we look towards our next 7 days, we are trending for warmer temperatures, but Friday we are dipping down to 5 degrees, but Saturday and Sunday looking pretty great at 10 degrees, the anticipated daytime high. Saturday, the peak time, because there is lots of sunshine moving through. Monday, while we will get to a daytime high of 18 degrees, we will likely see the return of some rain moving into our Tuesday and perhaps our Wednesday.
Thank you, Jackie. Wild turkeys are reportedly running amok in Ottawa, and you may notice them more with March and April being breeding season. Some in this city say they have no problem procreating, with numbers rising along with their attitudes. Here's CTV's Tyler Fleming.
Wild turkeys are taking over Ottawa, or at least for some it feels that way.
There's two toms that are strutting their stuff, yeah. Yeah, it's mating season.
In this neighborhood along Prince of Wales by the Rideau River, resident Jim Hagerman says around half a dozen call this street home.
There are pets around here, really, but some of the neighbors aren't too happy about them.
I haven't really had that much of a problem with them, but I can understand why people are concerned because they are big birds.
Pushing past 20 pounds and usually shy until they're not.
They've scared a lot of people in the neighborhood.
This rafter of turkeys are known for some foul behavior.
Go! Even delivery guys come and the delivery guys are afraid to get out of their trucks.
And turkeys don't seem too fazed, well, by anything. Here they're roosting on an Orleans lawn. And why? Why is the turkey crossing the O train tracks Wednesday morning? Whether it's bravado or bird brain, residents are getting ruffled.
These turkeys take the cake. They go after people at bus stops. They are by your car when you arrive home.
Ottawa Councillor Riley Brockington says it's time for these birds to fly the coop.
We're at the point, though, where I do believe these turkeys need to be relocated. We are not able to coexist successfully because of how aggressive these turkeys are.
But until the city settles on what to do, here's some turkey tips. Don't try to pet or feed them.
No more bird feeders, certainly for the summer.
If you see a turkey, keep your distance. If you're in a car, roll up the window.
You gotta honk your horn and go at them, and then they'll take off.
If you're afraid of them, I think they sense it, and they'll come towards you. But if you just ignore them, everything's fine.
And here's a fun fact you can gobble up. Wild turkeys are the second heaviest bird capable of flight in Canada. First place goes to the trumpeter swan. And yes, we have those in Ottawa too. Tyler Fleming, CTV News.
The administrative burden, we're all spending about 9 hours a week on paperwork that really is unnecessary. We could be seeing patients in that time.
Coming up, calling for improvements to cancer care. We'll tell you why clinicians say 3 key changes could be just what the doctor ordered. Today is the International Day of Pink at schools across Ontario. Students and staff wore pink to stand up against bullying and discrimination. The day started in Nova Scotia in 2007 when students rallied around a classmate who was bullied for wearing a pink shirt. A coalition of cancer clinicians is calling on provincial and federal authorities to make 3 key changes to speed up Canadians' access to care. CTV's Pauline Chan has the details.
The Cancer Clinicians Advocacy Forum, or CCAF, says while cancer patients are getting good care in Canada, there are frequent inconsistencies in access across the country.
We basically want to get equitable and rapid access to the newest advancements in cancer for our patients.
The CCAF has issued 3 recommendations for concrete actions federal and provincial health officials should take. First, create an interprovincial free trade in health services to give smaller jurisdictions faster access to things like genetic testing.
For example, doctors, nurses, pharmacists are licensed in an individual province. There's no portability of their licensure to work in places of greater need quickly. A lot of the tests that we order are also available to a different extent depending on what province you're in.
The second action is to ease the administrative burden.
The shortage of cancer specialists is worse per capita in the country than the shortage of family doctors, pharmacists, nurses, x-ray technicians. We really need to up our game in terms of having access to the people we need to get our jobs done. The administrative burden, we're all spending about 9 hours a week on paperwork that really is unnecessary. We could be seeing patients in that time.
And third, they're calling for faster access to new therapies.
Canada is amongst the slowest countries in the OECD, worst in the G7, for how long it takes for our processes to publicly access a new therapy.
CDEV says it can take Canadians up to 2 years longer than other countries to get approvals and funding for new cancer drugs here.
Even clinical trial access is often quite variable depending on our big, huge geography.
The CCAF suggests setting a 30-day time frame after a price is negotiated with the drug makers to make new treatments available for hospital use and through public drug plans. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
The province is planning to extend workplace safety and insurance coverage to workers in privately run care facilities like retirement homes. The change is part of a broader set of updates to labor rules. The government says the facilities, which include foster homes, are currently not subject to mandatory coverage. The update will mean roughly 29,000 workers will now be protected if they get hurt or become sick on the job.
We need to repair the roads that are broken, and we need to do urgency work as well.
Coming up, could Quebec be overdoing it with road construction? Some engineers seem to think so. We'll tell you why in a few short minutes. Welcome back. In neighboring Quebec, there are engineers that say the province is building more roads than it needs. A problem, especially since it doesn't have the money to maintain them all. CTV's Angela Mackenzie has more.
If it seems like our roads just keep getting worse, the Quebec Order of Engineers says that's because they are.
We need to maintain the road that we have. We need to repair the roads that are broken, and we need to do urgency work as well. And we don't have enough money to do all the three.
The Order's president, Sophie Larivière-Manta, says Quebec has historically built more roads than it needs. Per capita, Quebec has 2.5 times more kilometers of paved roads than Ontario. And now all those roads are in worse shape than they should be. ETS professor Alan Carter says the problem isn't how we pave our roads or fill our potholes. The problem is overall maintenance.
Maintenance of the road is actually somewhat cheap. Right? And the more we wait, the more expensive it gets. So it's exponential, the cost increase. And we are in the exponential part.
This graph from Quebec's Auditor General shows Quebec's projected infrastructure costs consistently fall short of what it actually invests each year. Larivière-Manta says Quebec's infrastructure plan doesn't factor in things like municipal roads or the effect of climate change.
We need to have those data, and those data need to be given to the population for them to understand the problem and the crisis that we're in.
The Order of Engineers wants the province to stop building new roads and highways and focus its spending on maintenance. Carter says one solution could be to use gravel in some parts of the province where roads are less traveled.
2026 gravel roads have nothing to do with 1950s gravel roads, right? So we can make much stronger. We can make them almost dust-free and everything with a fraction of the cost of paved roads.
Larivière-Manta believes it's time for a province-wide conversation about our infrastructure.
We cannot go forward and give those infrastructure that are in so many maintenance deficit to the next generation. We need to work on that problem right now.
And she hopes problems like this will be front and center in the next election. Angela Mackenzie, CTV News.
Absolutely thrilled to be speaking with you, Jeremy.
When we return, hurtling towards home from the moon, we'll tell you what the Artemis crew was up to today, including a chat with the Prime Minister. Here's another live look through our Centennial Glass Sky Cam. The temperature holding steady at 1 degree. And here's Jackie with one last look at the forecast.
Already starting off on a good note for tomorrow morning, starting at the freezing mark, mainly sunny skies, and this will improve to about 14 degrees for Thursday. But the afternoon, we could see the return of some clouds moving in and perhaps some showers, depending on where you are in eastern Ontario. Kingston likely going to see more rainfall than here in Ottawa, but we are keeping a very close eye on this. Temperatures are going to drop. 5 degrees is the daytime high for our Friday, with a mix of rain and snow moving in. Shouldn't last very long, though, because by the time Saturday rolls around, sunshine is on the way. 10 degrees the daytime high, and this will trend even much warmer by the time we get to Monday.
Finally, for us tonight, talk about the ultimate long-distance phone call.
I'm absolutely thrilled to be speaking with you, Jeremy, and the crew. We've all been watching and inspired by what you're doing.
Jeremy Hansen and the rest of the Artemis II crew received a call from a proud Prime Minister today. The chat lasted several minutes, discussing U.S.-Canada collaboration, maple syrup, and even a floating jar of Nutella. The crew returns to Earth on Friday. Very cool. That is CTV News for this Wednesday, April 8th. CTV News continues online anytime with our digital team keeping you up to date at ctvnewsottawa.ca. You can also watch our newscast live on the CTV News app, and for news on the go, listen to News Talk Radio 580 CFRA. For all of us here at CTV News, thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful night.